With all of the technology we use today, it's easy to forget that early explorers traveled around the globe without any maps or compasses. Instead, they made some simple tools to help them find their way. Using the North Star before there were compasses, explorers often depended on the North Star to guide them. Another name for the North Star is Polaris. Early explorers would use their fingers to measure the elevation, or distance above the horizon, of the North Star. They did so by lifting an arm toward the North Star and counting the number of fingers that fit below it. This told them their latitude or distance from the equator. To change their latitude, they had to sail north or south until the right number of fingers were below the North Star. This practice was later replaced by a tool called a kamal. The kamal worked better than finger measurements. It looked like a wooden rectangle with a hole in the middle. An explorer would place one end of a string through the hole, tie it, and then make knots that represented distances in the long part of the string. The knots were placed based on mathematical calculations. To use the kamal, the explorer put the long end of the string between his teeth. Then he moved the wooden rectangle toward or away from his face, until the edges lined up with the distance between sea level and the North Star. After that, he would count knots in the string to determine his north-south position. Learning wave patterns. Another way some early explorers traveled the South Pacific without getting lost was by learning wave patterns. They made stick chart models of the islands and waves around them. Different stick charts represented different kinds of waves and wave patterns. Shells were used to mark the islands. Coconut fibers, the sticks, represented the waves. Straight fibers stood for calm waves. Curved fibers stood for choppy waves called swells. Explorers then memorized these stick models before they went to sea. With their knowledge of wave patterns, experienced sailors could find their way just by feeling the waves and swells. Looking back on these simple tools and practices, it's a wonder that explorers were able to discover any place at all. Traveling to new places often took a lot of luck. But thanks to the brave and clever explorers of ancient times, we now know about many different places all over the world.